Go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. One of the last ones, if not the last one in 2018. Slap that like button if you're happy to be here again, because I sure am. I'm glad to be back with the homies, all the chat. Let's do this. We got great topics tonight. I'm feeling sick, but I'm still here because this show makes me happy, you know? So if I cough, you forgive me. I'm kind of like Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption. Arthur Morgan. But I'm still camping, you know? So we're doing it live. Hit that like button. If you're new, hit the bell icon so you know when we go live in the future. Without further ado, let's get to our special guest. He's a returning, he's a family member of TSGP. He was a panel member in the past, and his name is Irrelevant Native. What's going on, man?
What is up, dude? I'm back on TSGP. I'm seriously stoked to be back. Honestly, guys, it's been so long. I've missed you guys. I've missed just the platform, being on a podcast, and actually having an incentive to read these articles and everything. I've missed you guys. I've missed not to mention all of these people in the chat here going absolutely nuts. Thank you to you guys. Thanks for having me on, Salty. I appreciate it, dude. When you reached out, I was like, is he for real? When you're like, hey, do you want to be on TSGP? I literally looked at my phone and was like, why are you asking me? What do I have to offer here? My name is Irrelevant.
We miss you, buddy. Especially Punk, man. He's like, man, I miss Native so much. I'm dreaming about him.
Oh, man. Well, we will disregard the message that was sent to him on
No, Native. Punk misses you so much that he has to try insulting me in your place.
You what?
All right. Moving forward.
Anyway, let's get to our next.
Damn it, buddy.
Let's get to our next intro. Punk, other known as Mustache Ride 69. What's going on, man?
Mustache Ride.
Not much, man. Y'all know how it is, man. You wait for Thursdays. Not gonna go with the same spiel like I do every week, man. But I'm glad Thursday's here, man. It's been a super slow week, believe it or not. I mean, we all know the holidays right around the corner here next week from Tuesday, and my birthday is on Wednesday. Big week for me next week, man. Getting old and gaming it up. Glad to be here, man.
Birthday next week. How old are you turning, man?
52. No, 34.
2. Okay.
How old?
34, man.
30.
Man.
Big 3-4. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Awesome. Happy early birthday. Next up,
Thank you.
Titan Drago.
Yo, what's up, everyone?
Delayed response there.
Little bit.
That was a little weak. Redo that.
I wasn't ready for it because
not ready.
usually
I mean,
says something
it's
after
Titan.
Titan.
I'm gonna need you to
says
tone
Titan.
down. I'm gonna need you to tone down the
The
enthusiasm.
Beast
All right?
Titan or something, Anyways, quick update on the Twitter world, everybody. Sony fans are just as ridiculous as ever, as I found out today. I'm debating this guy, and he's like bragging about games that are 18 plus months away, and he actually puts this. It's like 18 months away. It's like, what? Like, come on, people. It's like they have no bangers. They're bangless. They're virginless. They're virgins right now.
They
God.
have no bangers and they're bangless.
They're
Wait a minute, hold on.
What did I hear?
Hold
that was
on
weird.
1 second.
Oh, God.
Is the guy that's coming out after dealing with Xbox has no games, now he's gonna turn that around and say PlayStation has no games? Is that what we're doing here, Drago?
Hey,
Is that what we're
PlayStation
doing
does
here?
not have anything out right now. That's
Oh
all I'm
my
saying.
god.
No,
you
what
know
they're
what?
saying
Don't
is that
worry.
I could really just be...
they're not saying that they don't have games. They just don't have games for 18 months. That's it.
Anyway, we're in the intros. It's already going sideways. Let's get to our next panel member, Nintendo Direct. How's it going, man?
Man, it's going good, feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
feeling good. So appreciate everybody in the chat, and I'm ready to do this thing. Happy to be back after being gone last week. And yeah, we got some pretty fun news to talk about. Let's just go ahead and get into them.
Hey, Indie Gamer, okay, I sound good now? All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for letting me know about my mic volumes. Appreciate it. Bloody Knuckles, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I'm always excited. I'm glad to have Native back. I've been missing his insults, honestly. I was like, Punk tries his hardest, but it doesn't have the same zing as Native.
Ooh.
A whole family back together.
I felt shade. total shade with that statement. So
Yeah, no, right? Punk,
That's
where's the
I feel
retort?
Believe it or not, it's too easy. It's too easy.
It's too easy, he says. Ooh.
Okay, come on, chill.
You know you're the last. That's all it is.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to our first topic of the night. Let's talk about the Epic Game Store. This is a new store that was launched to compete with Steam. And as you guys know, or if you don't know, if you're living under a rock, Epic Games is making that money through their popular game Fortnite. They're making billions and billions, $1 billion. They're just making money. So they didn't know where to. They were shoveling it into a furnace because they had so much. So they decided to make a competition to the Steam store. And what we're hearing now is they're getting a little cutthroat. Ashen moved to the Epic Store. It was supposed to launch on Steam, the Windows Store, and go, play anywhere. That was canceled, so Epic's doing some things behind the scenes. And then now we're hearing that The Walking Dead, the final season's remaining episodes, are going to be exclusive to the Epic Store. This is interesting because this was kind of a feel-good story when we heard about it because, as you guys know, these episodes were canceled once Telltale closed down, and then the creator of The Walking Dead said, no, we're going to finish it, and now we're getting this bad news. What do you guys think of this news with the Epic Game Store? You think they're getting a little greedy here, or do you think they're just kind of doing what they need to do to be competition to Steam? Anybody can jump in.
What's that quote? Bulls make money.
Yep.
Bears make money. Pigs get slaughtered.
Yep.
They're getting kind of piggish with this one, dog. I mean, I feel that way. Like you just gonna take some games that, Ashen, is relevant right now, and then you're gonna take The Walking Dead and start throwing them in your store exclusively. It really is. It's smart. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's a smart business move. 100%, but it's absolutely that's a pig move. 100% a pig move. Like, just give me all the money. But like you said, they're trying to compete with Steam, and I guess this is the way they figure they can compete. These Walking Dead games are going to sell, so it's smart business wise. I do not like it though whatsoever. It's Epic, and then I don't like the fact that we had to watch every ad in the Game Awards that was an Epic Game Store. Like they're pushing this thing hard, and so yeah, I mean, smart business move, but I absolutely.
Hey, Bloody Knuckles, you there, my dude?
Damn it!
Bloody Knuckles.
I'm here.
You're making hella feedback. It sounds like you're digging into a bag of chips.
It definitely does.
If you can mute your mic, my dude, it'd be appreciated.
Literally.
Thank you very much.
Sorry about that.
Anyway,
at Vegas.
Anybody
chips.
Anybody else have some thoughts here?
I definitely did have some thoughts, and to piggyback off of what Nick was saying, yes, Walking Dead, it's a hell of a thing for Epic to come out and pick that up because it's in the middle of the final season. So for them to do that, they know they're going to make bank on it. They know that they're going to get a lot of attention for it. But what trips me out is that they're not only going up against, the Epic Store isn't only competition for Steam, but it's also competition for the Microsoft Store for PC as well. And knowing that Fortnite kind of got off to a start with early access on Xbox, it's surprising to see that there isn't any camaraderie there. I mean, especially when you're looking at Ashen, I don't know if Epic pulled that out, from under they pulled the rug underneath Microsoft's feet there, or if Microsoft had a hand in it. I'm not sure with the details there, but that's definitely something I want to see more of, because I like the idea of Epic coming out and going toe-to-toe with Steam, which is a PC giant. I mean, I don't know any PC gamer that doesn't have Steam, doesn't utilize Steam at all. I mean, it blows my mind that Epic is kind of just so full of himself that they're willing to go toe-to-toe. And I like the analogy that you said, they're throwing it in the furnace, that they're kind of looking at it like, hey, we might as well do this, what's next? A console? Ooh, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah,
right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
guys.
no.
Cough in the background here. Hey, Bloody, you still getting feedback there, my dude? Not sure.
God damn it, Bloody!
You using a mic?
I don't know why I'm getting feedback. I don't know why I'm getting feedback right now. I'm sorry.
Did you make a mic out of like a tin can and put a string off of it or something?
Dude, that's too complicated for me. It's like a string wrapped around a plastic cup.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
So
Sounds like you're transmitting from a submarine.
yeah, it's like the next the dimension from the underworld over here. So anyway,
Yeah,
Titan,
using
Giving a new
Virgin Mobile.
definition to semen.
what do you think of this story here?
I think you guys covered it pretty well. They're definitely undercutting. They definitely undercut Steam, and I think that's good. It's a good thing. They got to be like when companies make decisions like this. It's hindsight 2020 whether it's going to be a good or bad thing in the long run, right? I think it's too early to tell right now, but time will tell with that.
Yeah.
But I think Steam definitely needed this competitor. Because it was, it was almost like they dominated the computer online market. I mean, so I think they needed this. I think it's a good competition, and I think it'll help in the long run. We just got to give it some time yet.
Cool.
Yeah, because Microsoft ain't doing shit PC wise and comes to their store.
Sure, their store sucks, right?
Yeah.
They've talked about it.
they're working on it now,
they
though.
need to upgrade their store. So I don't know how Ashen worked out specifically. I think it was more of like on the publisher side. They kind of made some deals there.
There's still a lot we don't know about the whole Game Pass coming to PC and all that, and maybe it'll be, I don't know, maybe it'll be some type of they'll group those two up together in some way or another. Maybe. Yeah. What do you guys?
Damage control. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just spitfiring ideas out there right now. Really,
We're just fucking with you, Drago. Don't worry, dude. Don't worry.
I think competition's good for the industry, but it was just a little interesting to see this because I wonder what kind of other titles are going to be in there as exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's bound to piss some people off. Anybody have any other thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. That's all I have to say. I'm pissed off that Walking Dead final season is exclusive. I'm glad that Epic is doing what they're doing, but at the same time, why with that? Pick up Life is Strange or something stupid like that. You know what I mean?
True.
Don't fuck with Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Why
they did.
That reaction is the exact reason why they did it, because they knew that it was going to be that big of a thing that they could probably pull it off and it would be a moneymaker, and that's exactly why they did it. That reaction right there just speaks volumes as to why they did it.
Basically, I'm gonna be buying the Walking Dead final season for my HP Pavilion laptop that can't run fucking Solitaire. You know what I mean? Like it can barely run that, but I'm gonna be picking it up there because I need to finish it. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. I'm good.
Awesome. Let's move on to NPD for the month of November. Some interesting results here. Looks like the industry is doing very well, as we know. The total sales for hardware is kind of a little bit down, but it's minute. It was like 2.706 billion last year, and it's 2.693. So I mean, it's very little difference there. Software sales are up year over year, so it looks like users are buying more games, and I think it's because of the quality of games that are out this year. If you compare 18 to 17, there's titles like Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the Battlefield 5s of the world, Pokemons, all these games that are coming out. Just a lot of games for people to buy. The best-selling games of November in 2018, no surprise here, Red Dead Redemption 2. On top, you had Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Battlefield 5. Fallout 76 was actually in the top 4, which was surprising considering the bad publicity it's been getting. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are 5 and 6. 2K19, the microtransaction simulator, 7. And then you got Madden, Spyro, all that other stuff. So besides that, we got some news with Nintendo. It looks like Nintendo is going to be the fastest selling console in the United States. It's breaking huge U.S. sales records. Nick, you got some more information on this. What do you think of this information here about the Nintendo Switch in the U.S.?
It's interesting. They just pretty much what NPD said is within the 21 months that it's been out, it's outpacing both Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 at this point, as far as sales and how fast they're coming off the shelf and whatnot, which is great. It's interesting to see. What I think the bigger story is, besides that, is the fact that all 3 consoles combined in the month of November, that's Sony, Xbox, and PlayStation, also total sold 1.3 million, and that's the most combined ever as well. So not only is Nintendo killing it, everybody else is killing it. Xbox is killing it, and Sony are killing it. You mentioned the software sales as well. So pretty much at this point, what you can take from it is Nintendo's doing well. Xbox is finally starting to gain some footing. Sony's still doing well. So it is a great time in the gaming industry as a whole. And I think this momentum will only carry until the next generation. And I think it's great. I think it's exciting time, honestly, to see that all three are doing well. As much as I like to bang on Sony and, you know, all that stuff, like we've always said, competition is great. And when these three are in stride with each other, it is nothing but a good thing. So once the next gen comes out, I feel like it's going to be just all three of them in a ring, throwing punches at each other.
I think it's going to be Xbox knocking everybody out, but that's just my opinion. But you know, I'm so sick of console sales.
You know what? The funny thing is, you said that. I just think it's funny that the new Xbox code name is Anaconda. Would you say that they're going to choke the competition?
That would have been a better thing, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So, but no, I agree with you, dude. I think Xbox will kill it next generation. But at this point in time, with the way it's going, like, you cannot, whether you hate one or the other, just be glad. Like, they're all back. That's something we needed.
You're right, and you know what? And the people on the other side of the fence are looking at this. You know, Xbox. They're looking at it like wrong. It's only sold 40 million, only 40 million. You know, and it's probably more than that. It's like, this isn't a bad thing. These Xbox is making more and more money every year. And it's like, I'm just sick of console sales figures, because it's like in every debate you have on Twitter, somehow it always comes back to that. You could talk about E3, you could talk about games, resolution, Game Pass, it don't matter. You could talk about the weather with a PlayStation fan, and somehow console sales figures are going to come up.
Well, I mean, it's what they have. They have console sales and they have exclusives, and let's be honest, Xbox and Nintendo didn't do well the first part of this generation. You know what I mean? And so that's all they can hold on to. You may get tired of it, but at the same time, like, know that right now, the way the pacing is going, they don't have much of a rock to stand on as far as console sales, because when you see it, they're all breaking records. Like never in history has this ever happened where they've sold 1.3 million. Never. Yeah. Combined, has that ever happened? Didn't happen last year when Sony was ahead. Didn't happen the year before when Sony was ahead. Didn't happen the year before that when Sony was ahead. It's happening now because they're all doing well.
Punk, let me get can you give me another level-headed view on these console sales numbers and stuff?
Why do you want my opinion, dude? You know, I don't care about that shit. Because you're more level-headed
than I am. You don't care about it.
I sit back and listen to you because you're a funny guy. I mean, like, you hate PlayStation so much. I'm like, he's like, Xbox is gonna kill it. I'm like, okay, here we go. We have to tighten with this input about how he feels about next gen. All right.
I'm just getting warmed up for later on, a topic later on. All right.
He's just throwing everyone at this so that way he can go off later and not feel bad.
Yeah, right. Hey, you sound good, bloody.
Yeah.
I know.
Welcome back.
I know, because I wasn't using the tin can anymore. I mean, the plastic.
Dennis Haas said something. He says, Xbox will not win worldwide, but may win North America. Xbox may surprise worldwide more than you think with the ideas that they're having, and if they continue to push the way they're pushing, they may make some breakthrough.
Here's the thing: they're not gonna release the sales figures next gen too, even when they're dominating. It's just not the way they're gonna go. They're gonna release more profits.
Here's the thing. This is the markets that Xbox currently dominates, and one is in Brazil. Brazil is a very large market, and then they do very well in Europe. They're not pacing with Sony right now, but next gen they can easily do. And if they dominate the three biggest markets, being North America, Europe, and Brazil, that's all that they need. I was like, everywhere else it's going to be sporadic because of the fact of just the kind of products that are being available in those regions. But those are the three biggest markets besides China. And then, of course, you have Japan. But with those three markets right there, that's all that they need to focus on. And they've been showing that those are the demographics they've been reaching out to. They got South America. They got Central America. We saw what they were doing for their Mexican and Central American fans with XO. Like, Xbox is planning, very rightly so, for the next gen. People just aren't really taking notice of what they've done.
So, real quick, do you guys think that the console wars as we know it are kind of coming to an end? This is an interesting topic. I want to get into it because we have some rumors out there, like just the way, we're talking about console sales as we know it. That's kind of going into like total users and all this other shit. And then we're going into the streaming venues. And then we got all three of the big, heads up there at the Game Awards standing together, rubbing elbows. And the head of PlayStation's tweeting, Xbox people, congratulations. And Xbox people, it's just like, do you think the console wars as we know them are coming to an end? What do you guys think?
You know what?
No.
If you have the brands, you're gonna have the fans, which are gonna stick up for the brand that they're a fan of, and hence the console war will remain. I don't know how else you would put it.
So you're a console warrior.
I think if you add another rhyme in there, Titan, that might do a little bit better.
You're a console warrior.
You got the fans of the brands, but I need more, Titan. You're supposed to be the musician.
Man, you guys are expecting me to pull stuff out of my rear, ain't you?
Damn right I do.
I mean, that's where you pull out your other console fanboy shit out, right?
Yeah, but at least I got time to, incubate it or whatever,
He's like, I need time, man.
You can't do it off the top of the head. It's not. Get out,
man. He can't throw bars like
license.
that. All right.
Yeah, he's not like Eminem, right?
Bro.
He can't just go off the top of his head. He's got to write his lyrics. He's got to prepare them. He's got mom's spaghetti all over his shirt. Like
Yeah. Skip Bayless in the chat. What you talking about, Skip? Let me tell you something, Skip. Skip in here talking about, does Xbox have something like Zelda?
Let me tell you what. No, they don't. How about that?
Let me tell you something, Skip. They have something like
Zelda was amazing.
Let me tell you something, Skip. No, they don't. No, they don't. But you know what they do got? They got the most powerful console in the world. Mile with the yak.
Salty, one thing I want to ask you about this console war question is, the console war will be there, but when is the toxicity gonna stop about it all?
Never.
You know what? That is a great question. Titan, when is the toxicity going to stop?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
hey, you opened up that door. You opened that door.
I'm passionate.
There's a difference, huh?
So anyway, the toxicity online is never going to stop because that's just what social media is. Yep. It's like this cesspool for anonymous toxicity because people don't have to share their real names. They don't have to have consequences to anything they say. So they say shit that they wouldn't necessarily say. They say shit
that they necessarily wouldn't shit.
You should tell me that I'm never going to not stop hearing about the numerous amount of men that have been with my mother.
What?
I wish that was funnier, but we'll move on.
Damn it. You know what? I could leave. I could be gone for months, Salty. I could be gone for months, and Bloody will not get any funnier than when I was here.
And there's nothing to follow up with that sentence.
It's like a stand-up comedian that like fails on a joke and the silence, like silence in the all right. The laugh sign's going off. The laugh now sign's going off. Okay. Anyway, we'll move on.
But instead of taking the hint, he just thinks, oh, you know what? Their silence just means that they're speechless because I'm just that funny. So he keeps going back.
Damn right I do. You're damn right I do. I don't need
them all, Bloody.
I don't need your appreciation.
Not every joke hits, man. It's all good. Just keep telling them if they're good. So anyway,
keep swinging, Bloody.
A blind
squirrel. I need affirmation of my jokes.
As they say, the blind squirrel gets a nut eventually. So just keep trying, man. That's what counts. Anyway, this is interesting. The NPD stuff, everything that's going on with the streaming services, the PlayStation news that we'll get into. That's one of the main titles in the show. But I don't know, man. I think it's kind of evolving, even though people are kind of saying it's not because things are kind of similar and the same in our social media realms. But once you stand outside that, I think that these companies are kind of looking at these analytics and they're looking at the way things are moving.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. by No. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I believe that these companies are not going to be in like won't have a huge disdain for each other here in the near future. It's going to be all about lining each other's pockets, and how can they do that? There's not going to be much. Yeah, but as far as the communities go, it's gonna be the same.
Because if you get the big,
they're all gonna be laughing about it.
If you get the big boys like Google and Amazon involved in these streaming services, if they get involved in gaming, those are pretty big players. You know what I'm saying? Like if they get involved with this situation, so like if you look at the amount of money that these companies have at their disposal, Sony and Nintendo are kind of down the list. So
you know what I compare this to right now? Though do you remember those Tucker cars that came out in like the 50s or 60s or whatever they were starting to make, and then the big three auto people like pretty much made them not relevant and like cut them out because their ideas were so innovative and it was going to like make them look bad, and they like pretty much underleg swept them from making cars. Like I feel like that's what these three are doing right now with getting together and like being all kumbaya with like Google and Amazon in the game. Like they're like, we got to make sure that this doesn't happen. Like they don't take over. I feel like that's the thing that they're starting to do right now.
Yeah,
with the way they're starting.
You look at like
Pink Floyd said GM, Ford, and Chevy and Chrysler, all of them got together and like.
What you're trying to say is that they're just trying to play the game.
Yeah, they're just trying to play the game, and they got to make money.
I mean, it all comes down to business, but. The whole thing with the crossplay situation actually happening between all three of those big players, PlayStation, Xbox, and Sony, that's not something that I thought would ever happen.
About the Game Awards. Don't forget about the Game Awards. All three of them on stage together talking.
Salty said
and yet they
PlayStation,
still didn't announce
Xbox, and Sony.
Did I?
You know what? You were
I'm
right.
sick, dude. I'm on drugs. Did I say that?
I'm on drugs.
Yes, you did.
No, it's all good.
Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo.
Salty, real quick. You were right. But you know what? It was about a year ago. It was when I first started my channel. I made a crossplay video on my channel. It was one of my first videos, and up until Fortnite said that crossplay was as easy as flipping a switch. It was that point right there that I actually thought it could be coming soon. That was the only it just didn't make sense to me. If it's easy as pulling a switch, why isn't this happening? And sure enough, I think more and more people started asking these questions, putting pressure on these companies, and I think that's what Fortnite maybe push that button in the right direction, and help all us gamers out.
Epic knew exactly what it was doing when it flipped that switch on. They knew exactly what was going to follow once they said, hey, we had crossplay on for, the last couple hours, and it was
because Sony did not want that, if you remember.
They knew exactly what they were doing, though.
Sony
and now look
shut
at where they're at.
Crap down as soon as they found out about it.
They did, but look at the position that they put Epic in now, because now that Epic has come out and exposed that truth, now they're coming out with their own game store. Now they're making moves and picking up all these different titles. They're making moves. They are very cutthroat. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that a lot of people are dismissing, is that they're going to be a contender in this PC client market. You know what I mean? And that's where I feel these consoles are going to be going as well. I think Microsoft and PlayStation are kind of looking at those big publishers like EA and Ubisoft, how EA and Ubisoft come out and Blizzard come out with their own specific client instead of running it through Steam. You know what I mean? Like they have Origin and then they have Uplay, things like that. I think Microsoft and Sony are going to be going that way as well, because here we have Epic, which is just a studio. Like it's a developer. They created a game and this game took off. They exposed some things within the industry and now they're in the position that they're in. So
about to be a big publisher at this point.
It's pretty nuts, man. The way that it's going, it's very cutthroat these days. And I think that's why Microsoft and Sony are kind of not Microsoft and Sony, but the big three, they're kind of starting to get into that realm of playing nice with each other, because they see that these developers aren't just developers, that these publishers just aren't publishers anymore. They're top dogs because they have the ability to do it through their own clients.
Nintendo
do their own decisions.
But think about this, is that it's been happening for a little while, because and it's not as aggressive as we're seeing right now with Epic. But think about, they've been doing it for a while because they have Origin, which is Origin, so we're not going to go into there. And then Ubisoft had Uplay, or their Ubisoft store, and they've been kind of doing some things with third party, and they've been kind of showing that they have the aspect. And you also have companies like GOG, which is done by CD Projekt Red. People forget that's their online store and stuff like that. And then of course you have Humble Bundle and what they do with third party developers and publishing and selling those games as well. Is that there's a lot of different ways that that we've seen, at least on the PC side. So having a company like Epic or seeing Amazon and Google really push into that helps to push the sales and everything on the PC side. And that's why you're seeing the way that Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo are reacting, because the fact that they know that consoles aren't going to be the only place anymore. Especially Microsoft has already been planning on unifying their whole ecosystem. We've seen that over this generation with Xbox One, with the way that they did their Xbox apps and everything, and how they've been trying to bridge that gap and connecting. Now they're trying to fix the Microsoft Store. They included Xbox Play Anywhere, so that way you can share those games. They knew that they needed to get a jump on it, being able to get that head, because they know that before that it's going to be service-based, but it's also going to be around what's on the because the fact that they know what is possible with these other publishers. That's why we're seeing a company like Epic, who has the money, who knows how to publish and stuff like that, is being as cutthroat as they are. And it's affecting Microsoft on the PC side, but not so much on the console side. But that still has an effect on what they can do overall, because we're seeing how it affected Ashton with them having to delay the Xbox Play Anywhere because of the fact that Epic is getting first sale on it before Steam and before the Windows Store and stuff like that. So we're seeing how that effect can have it, but it's not affecting the console. But we know that the console, while still being their dedicated hardware, is not going to be the mainstay anymore. It's how it's going to affect the ecosystem overall. And that's where we're seeing the effect of a powerhouse like Epic coming into this.
It's true.
You know what I'm looking forward to seeing is Samsung TVs coming in with a built-in Xbox app, kind of like they have with the Rokus.
Yep.
Where you can pick a
smart TV.
That'd
be awesome.
Yo, the funny
That's
thing
what I
is,
see coming.
I said that on my stream yesterday. Like, what if Xbox is doing this? If Sony doesn't have any other devices, what if they just started putting their smart TVs with PlayStation Now on it? That would be hilarious.
That would be that, or you could build that into Apple TV as well.
I spoke on this on I forgot where I was, Xbox Nation or one of the places, and it's just a lot of times we have our viewpoints of what things should be and the way that they should always be, but in life it's always fluid, it's always changing. Like if you look back, the way that consoles were in the 90s, right? They're these hardware pieces. The only places you could play those games are on the hardware, like an SNES, right? You stick the cartridge in, you play it, right? You fast forward to today, like today's society is different, right? We've got our stuff on the go. You look at our smartphones. Not only do they have GPS, they're basically a computer. They play all your media. They have all your music. You look in the past, even like 10 years ago, you had to have multiple devices for that. Everything's becoming more accessible, all in one. It's all about convenience, everything, right? So you look at the console space, and it's been a certain way, and people are aggressively against change, right? Oh, I have my console, my box that I am loyal to. I'm an Xbox gamer because I have a box in my living room. Well, that thought process, it's hard to change that, but you got to imagine these companies just like a Netflix situation. It's like when you have Netflix, Cree Freak with the super chat. Great panel tonight. Shout out to the chat. You're awesome as always. Here's a gift for you, Salty. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. So
awesome.
Much love, Freak. Much love.
What I was saying, you got to look at it not in the hardware space, because we're getting outside of that, right? We're getting into these apps. You look at your smartphone. Look at how many apps are on your smartphone for your disposal, things that you could do with it. So what you guys are talking about, you need to look at like these systems. They want to reach as many people as they want. That's why we'll get into the news with Sony. But Microsoft knows, like you look at the history of them doing like predictions of the way trends are going with tech and technology. they're always on the money, but they're too early, right? With the Kinect technology, they were early. They got it out. They pushed it too fast, and then they got shit for it. And then now, fast forward to today, the DRM shit's not an issue anymore. The always connected online is not an issue. The Kinect technology is in everything. Like, we have Alexa in our home listening to every fucking thing we do, right? And it's just it's acceptable, right? So Microsoft knows that this is the way it's going, and the big companies know that this is the way it's going. And it's just like, we got to get outside of our comfort zone for a little bit and just understand that we want to play games. We're gamers, right? I want to play Halo, but I want to play God of War. You could have all that on your TV if you have apps for it, right? If PlayStation's an app on your TV, you have PlayStation games. If Nintendo's an app, you play those. If Xbox is an app, you play those. You have all the games. So the difference is, it's like the people that would be against that would be fanboys, and that's pure and simple, because gamers, they care about games. They don't give a shit where they're playing it. They don't pray to their little console box that's on in front of their TV, and that's my rant. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think that that's the way that gaming's going in the future.
My thing is that, but growing up, you go.
I like what Dennis Haas said in the chat. He says Microsoft has problems with premature teculation. Which is spot on, because how often have they been ahead of the curve on these things with these other consoles and just taking L's because of it, and they come to find out they're right.
Well, here's the thing: it's not even just the fact of what they've done with the consoles and seeing the trends. It's what they've done with several other services and products well ahead of time. Look at what they did with Zune and what they did with that music program. Well, no. Honestly, look at what they did with Zune and what Apple was doing at that time, and what Zune had started, that when they canceled it and stopped producing that, what Apple started doing exactly right after. They had that wireless music sharing from the device itself. They had the subscription service. They had it to where you can download any music, that you could play it through either the media player, through anything that's downloaded with the subscription to the device, as well as the fact of they had the Zune app on Xbox and around, and shared that. This was before Apple Music was doing their paid subscription and everything like that, where you had to buy all the albums and stuff like that in a lot of those aspects. But people gave Microsoft shit for what Zune was doing, especially with the form factor of the device, well before how slimmed down the iPods became in time and became more sleek looking. And then again, they did it with what they were doing with the Xbox One at the beginning of the generation, with the game sharing that was online and everything else, stuff that had already been common on PC but not on console. But look at what was already starting to happen with that aspect. We saw EA was doing the online passes for all their games and stuff that always needed to check when you first signed into their servers. And then we started seeing it with Ubisoft, and then we started seeing it with Epic, and every other major publisher was starting to use these online servers for checks and stuff, especially at the end of the 360 generation with a game like Destiny, which needed to be connected always online to the servers, because if not, you can't access the game. We started seeing all those trends well ahead of time, and they prepared for it, but people gave shit. Now, the issue with that is the fact that while they're innovative, it's also still about timing, because they did the same thing with the tablet PC back in 2000, several years before we saw the iPad. Like, they've always been ahead of the curve, but it's never at the right time. That's the issue with innovation.
It's true. It's true. So what do you guys think about this whole app situation on TVs? And do you think that, Nick, I want to really, Titan, what was your question to Nick that you were going to ask him that you didn't get to ask?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
I think it was something about what was your opinion on whatever the fuck we were talking about.
Okay. So Nick,
a long time ago.
Nick, do you think Nintendo will fall in line here, or are they just gonna always not do the same thing?
Bruh, I don't have. Here's the deal, man. I don't have expectations of what Nintendo's gonna do, because you never know what they're gonna do. Like, they could just be. At this point with this new president, I have no idea what's down the pipe. I have no idea. I have no feel for him. Like, they could just be. He said something really troubling. He said that I'm going to continue to push the envelope, but I'm also not going to forget our values, current values that they have. And so I'm like, come on, man. be one or the other. Don't be lukewarm. Like, just start killing it and doing all these good ideas. So it's hard telling. I don't have a feel for this current president and the direction that he wants to take the company. I hope they don't rest in their laurels, because if they do, honestly, with what Sony and Microsoft are doing, they're going to get passed by. Like, they already gained some momentum with the Switch and making that mobile and sort of being ahead of the curve a little bit on that. But if they continue to just sort of not push the envelope and just rest in their laurels, they could get past it real quick, especially with Google and Amazon and everybody else entering the game. Like, Nintendo does what they always do, and that is rest in the fact they have Mario, rest in the fact that they have Zelda, rest in the fact they have Star Fox and all their IPs. But you know who else did that? Sega. And what happened to Sega? So they really need, like, they need to stick with the times. That's all I'm going to say. I hope they do.
So you okay, that's fair enough. So you think that they need to step it up a little bit?
I mean, they have a hit with the Switch, but and it's great. They do have a hit with the Switch, but what Microsoft and Sony are going to kind of do that they're not doing is they're going to take us one step ahead. You don't have to have our hardware. We might put it on other hardware. What are you going to do, Nintendo? Nintendo's going to sit there like, we have the Switch. You know how many?
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. But they're going to be really stingy with their IPs. That's just what they do, and that's what kind of has me scared. Once Microsoft starts putting everything on mobile and every other platform, and Sony does the same thing, Nintendo's going to be sitting there like, "Yo, people still try to buy this Switch," and that could be a problem because I'm telling you right now, people that I've talked to, like people who like they don't want to buy hardware, they just want the games at this point, and so they need to sort of figure that thing. Don't die, bro. Don't die, please. Don't die.
Oh, shit.
I thought I muted my mic. Okay, so that doesn't work. I got to mute this one, right?
Are you sure that was a sick cough and not a smoker's cough? Because, I mean, you were all the way out.
Honestly, all right, so just to let you guys know, right? This show is extremely important to me. I love hanging out with you guys. So it's important to me. Any other thing right now, I wouldn't be doing this shit. But I love hanging out with you guys, and it's a priority for me to be consistent with this show. So honestly, like I have bronchitis. I've had it for like
I got bronchitis.
Some weeks.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I've had it for weeks, and then it causes asthma from the infection, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we're still here. I'm still alive. I thought, so with Streamlabs, there's a mic thing. I could see my mic audio moving, and there's a mute button there. I was like, well, I could just mute it there, but apparently I got to mute it in the, anyway, well, we're not going to go there. Like I said, I sound like Arthur Morgan towards the end of the game where he finds out, I'm not going to spoil it to you, but, you know.
Bruh, stop now.
Let's just say Salty's lucky he's not in Red Dead Redemption 2 right now.
Seriously, like the healing items aren't as effective and all that other shit.
Is that General Grievous? General Kenobi.
Gotta mute my mic.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway,
that's great.
Yeah, that topic is, I guess, dead since I was coughing over it. So we'll put it to
The only
bed
thing
there.
that's dead is your
It's a good
shit
segue.
now because your lungs are dying.
Yeah, Black Lung.
Shut up, bloody.
Call me Black Lung,
No.
I guess, for right now. Let's get into some interesting rumors. Borderlands 3, some story details have come out. I think it's interesting. I'm excited for Borderlands 3, honestly.
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Yeah, they're like, oh, we're going to see Borderlands 3 at E3. Nope. Well, we're going to see it at the Game Awards. Nope. Anyway,
We're gonna see it at Gamescom. Nope.
Yeah, this information's pretty interesting because it looks like they're kind of revamping all the classes. So this is going off of the No, which I don't really like. I don't like the No. I don't follow them anymore. But they got some pretty intriguing details when it comes to this game. So they're saying right now, so instead of using the same characters from Borderlands 2, they're going to be using characters. So the soldier's going to be in a Titanfall style mech, which is interesting. The Siren will be melee focused this time around. The assassin class is returning, and the Beastmaster class will debut with 3 pets for players to choose from. I think it's interesting. I would have liked them to kind of pull more characters in from that failure of the game. Nick, do you remember that game? Battleborn? Remember that?
Oh God, no.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I don't think you hurt his feeling just bringing it up.
I'm getting ear herpes. Just stop talking about it.
So you guys excited that You guys excited? You guys excited for Borderlands 3? Or you guys not care?
No, I'm not going to be excited until they actually announce it because of the fact that we've been waiting fucking forever, and I'm not going to do it anymore.
Okay.
Epic has had plenty of times to announce something, and they're just like, "Hey, maybe," or
shut up, buddy.
Yeah, or Gearbox. Either way, they're just like, "Hey, we have something in the works." And it's just like, "Why don't you say something?" She's like, "Well, we're gonna show off all this possible stuff that could be like it, but it's not."
Dennis, no,
I'm tired.
Okay, I'm keeping my mouth shut.
Damn. Yeah, no. Borderlands 3. I don't think it's gonna do anything. Not when the looter shooter market is congested with Destiny 2,
Destiny,
and then
everything
Anthem
else.
coming out,
Anthem.
and then Division 2. I mean, it's just too much. Borderlands.
It's not like it's coming out at the beginning of next year. So
Yeah,
If
no, they
missed
missed
with a
the
multiplayer
opportunity.
aspect. I'm gonna be funny. I'm gonna laugh.
Borderlands is outdated. It's gonna die as
Uh-oh.
soon as it launches.
Uh-oh.
That's it.
Interesting
Don't
take.
at me.
So-
Uh-oh.
Don't
The
at
only
me.
thing that's not outdated is Butt Stallion because everyone loves Butt Stallion.
So you're
Shut up, buddy.
So
God damn it.
so a majority of you. So what you're saying
Oh, I'm
is.
sorry. I make a Borderlands reference. I'm gonna drop kick you in the face, Native.
So what you guys are
become
saying,
right.
what you guys are saying is you're kind of a show me what you got before I believe anything, and also
Yeah.
that Borderlands is kind of, it was good because it was at the forefront of the genre, and it's kind of got passed by, is what you're saying. That's interesting.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
wouldn't say it's bad.
Here's the
ahead,
thing.
go ahead, Titan.
Here's the thing. The first game was fantastic, and I
Agreed.
feel like in general, by a game's third or fourth iteration, it needs like some sort of a revamp, and it looks like they're doing that, so that's good. It'll feel kind of fresh. It'll give it some new flavors or whatever, and I think the game
It's
needs
been like
that.
7 years, 8 years now, dude.
Wait,
Well, the thing
hold on.
is-
Titan,
well,
where are you
here's
getting
the
that
thing.
from?
Well, here's the thing. Gearbox was famous for their loot system. Their loot system. Their billion engine crafted guns or whatever. So you basically couldn't run out of different guns to get. So that was the original draw to that game. They don't have. The only problem is they don't have that big draw with this next game. I think it's gonna be good, but it just doesn't.
All right,
It's
the
lacking
87
that
bazillion
draw.
guns or whatever.
All they need to do, all Gearbox needs to do is just make up a stand-up comedy game with all of their characters because their characters were all hilarious, and that's
The
it.
comedy is
The
good.
whole looter shooter thing, it's not gonna work for them anymore. I don't
They
think
need
so.
different
Look,
character models.
If they did an
for sure.
entire game about Mordecai, I'd be completely all right because he was awesome.
right? Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah,
That was my favorite character.
Gearbox.
Oh, him and Zero? Oh, that would be best.
Zero, dude. Zero's.
They need more character models. I'm tired of looking at the same dude with the mask and he's got no shirt on and he's
They
ugly.
tried it.
Like I'm tired.
tried
of
it
They
with,
need-
I always think of those studios that haven't even
They
got
tried
to
it.
make a game yet on this generation
You
console.
mean you don't
know?
like looking at the
Possibly next
regular
gen.
model character and then the midget model character and then the dude who's slightly bigger up top model character?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
love that.
Borderlands 3, it's just kind of a small little topic, kind of a segue. So it's not entirely all deep console war topics, but Borderlands 3 could be good, but I definitely get what you guys are talking about. Like I try to go back and play Borderlands 2 and I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way the game looks or I played it so many times, but I just
Yeah,
can't
been there,
play
done
it,
that.
dude. Yeah.
You played it so
But-
many times because it's an 7-year-old game.
And they're trying to sell it on VR too, right? Or people are
Yeah,
excited
but-
to buy it on
Yeah,
VR. Like why?
Dude, it's a 7-year-old game, and like everybody has already said, there's so many games have came out similar to it, better than it, all that stuff. It's
Exactly.
just it may not gonna work. They tried something ambitious with Battleborn and nobody liked it, and now they're kind of
You
stuck
know,
in their box here. And
Ryan
But
Landis.
think about this-
Shout out
think
to
about this-
Ryan Landis in the chat right there. Borderlands Netflix show.
yeah,
That's it.
do that.
Yes,
Do
do
that.
that. Do that.
Do that.
But the thing is, with Borderlands, it's like how many times have they remastered, repackaged, and resold the game? How many times are
Yep.
people gonna rebeat that game on re-up? And there's no real difference. Like there's nothing fun to do in that game. Like the guns are great, but once you start getting the gold, and then the few people who kept playing enough to get the pearlescent, there was only so much you could do. And let's not even talk about the pre-sequel. Well, the pre-sequel was cool because they added real
pre-sequels.
interesting characters and added a new element when they added the cryo stuff. It didn't do well. Like the story is interesting because we got to see how Jack became the way he was in 2, but it still wasn't good.
I didn't.
I think that's more
the
of Telltale's fault. I think that was more of Telltale's fault than it was Gearbox.
No, because that was that you're thinking of the Tales from the Borderlands. No,
this was
the pre-sequel. The pre-sequel was Gearbox, or I think that was 2K Australia.
It was 2K
Australia.
It was 2K Australia, and it sucked.
Was it?
Trust me.
But still, it was. But it's still one of those things. Is that and Native brought up a good point. The looter shooter now is definitely congested. But here's the thing. The one who's doing it right is Destiny, because they're doing the first person looter shooter. Now Anthem and Division are setting up the third person looter shooter. Two different fields, but they have their own styles. But Borderlands, unless they do something really over the top and unique and revamp themselves, it's not gonna do anything with the way that it is now.
So competition works like this, right? You either evolve and adapt your shit, or you get left behind, right? Even though you have this brand recognition, Borderlands, everybody's like, oh my god, I love Borderlands. Even though they do that, if they don't evolve their stuff, they're gonna get left behind, because competition's raising gaming, man. So I know, but that was more of the MOBA,
I know, but they did try, and everybody still crapped on them.
It sucked.
No. I know, but they tried. They tried to evolve. Salty's on it. He's like, they tried. They went multiplayer. They kind of knew that MOBAs was a thing.
They tried the same way that Cliffy B tried.
Look at Warframe.
I think now Overwatch.
7 years later, we're gonna get the same game.
Overwatch buried that game. That's plain and simple. It was a good game for what it was, but it's just implemented bad.
You want to talk about a game that evolved and did what they needed to do to keep going? Look at Warframe.
Evolved.
Evolve free to play, but look at specifically at Warframe. Warframe was heavily PvP when it first launched, and then over time they added a lot more content. They added those 4-player co-op raids, and then eventually they made a full-on PvE mode. It still has a lot of PvP, but it's one of those games that did adapt to the times, and it did wonders. Borderlands didn't do that. And they don't. And the fact is, like, years later, they're still putting out the gold keys or whatever for Borderlands 2. But at this point, no one gives a shit. Do something else.
Ryan,
we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah,
here.
We're going to move on. Ryan Landis says this: as tired as people are talking about Battle Royale, COD seems to have done the right thing by adapting. That's true, man. You got to adapt, you got to evolve, you got to change, or you get left behind in the gaming industry. Let's talk about Xbox games with gold lineup real quick. Not much to say here, but I did a video on it. I wanted to talk specifically that they dropped Celeste in there. It's a game that I never heard of before the Game Awards show. It won Indie Game of the Year. It was up for Game of the Year actually, and it didn't win obviously, but that's the main title. But it's an indie offering, and then you got some other bullshit games. They got a repeat in there, a Lara Croft game that they gave out for free already, Far Cry 2, which is kind of hard to go back and play, and then they got this dirt racing game in there, WRC 6 FIA World Rally Championship. And then I was saying in my video, like, why would you play that when you could play the best racing game out there in Forza, right? The new Forza game. So overall it's a ho-hum month. I mean, if you are a fan of indie games, which I am now, I look forward to playing Celeste. I think it's going to be a great experience.
Celeste will be a good one for you to play.
Yeah,
it's great, and then it's in Games of Gold. It's even better. I'm going to pop.
I'm looking forward to the fact that Celeste is on there because it was one of the top indies, and for a game that was an indie that was a Game of the Year contender, like, I want to see what this game's about because I've heard nothing but good things, but just never knew anything about it.
So Celeste, who's going to be playing this game? Who's excited for it? I think it's cool that it's a Game of the Year nomination, but it's still indie. You know what I'm saying? So what I said is cut the 360 titles out, because look at this, the offerings that we're getting now. It's like they already gave us this Lara Croft game for free, so they're repeating a title that was free a while back, and then we get in Far Cry 2. Like, I know some people like that game. I didn't like it. We're already at Far Cry 5, so who's going to go back? I mean, there's some people that will play that, but if you cross those 360 titles off, give us two good Xbox One offerings, maybe throw in, the Celeste game and a good AAA or something, man. Like, I don't need 4 games a month. If you give me 2 good ones, then that's what I think they should do. But because PlayStation... Go ahead.
And don't forget there was other Far Cry spin-offs too, like Primal, And
Yeah.
so they're definitely.
I do heavily respect the fact that Microsoft is still giving games to those that are still on the 360. I think that's why they keep them up, and I respect that. I respect it big time because I was a late adopter of the Xbox One. I didn't get it day one because I was skeptical of it. I held off and I stayed to my 360 for the first few months, and knowing that they were still giving me 360 games on top of the Xbox One games, it was good. So I respect them for doing that, but. Going back to Celeste, I do want to try that. I want to play Celeste, and I still need to play Dead Cells. I've heard of many good things, especially from you, Salty. I mean, you were gushing about that game, so I really want to try that.
It's on sale right now. On sale right now. It's like $20 or less than that.
I wish we had this podcast. I wish we had this podcast back in the 360 era when the indie games were coming out like gangbusters, man. Because you guys are on fire with these indies and stuff, but like they're not really. Just for me personally, it's a meat problem, but I'm not getting drawn into most of these indie games. I have played a few really good ones. But I remember 360 was just like indie banger after indie banger, if you will, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Sam Masunto in the chat. Dead Cells, Hollow Knight, Celeste, all those games. I played them all except for Celeste. Dead Cells, Hollow Knight are outstanding for me. I don't know what it is about this generation. I think it's because I'm in YouTube and I'm reviewing games, and once I've expanded my horizons to the indie genre, there's a lot of good experiences out there. Like I think people just downplay indie titles, immediately throw them out. You know, oh my God, look at the 8-bit graphics they're putting in there. They're doing that on purpose, people. Like I said this before, like why do people want everything to be the same? They want all their movies to be the same. They want the graphics to look the same. They want the art styles to be the same. It's like you guys want to be robots and be living in this world where it's like the same colors, the same this, and people believe the same shit and say the same things. It's like, come on, dude. Like we need variety, right? We need variety in life. Yeah.
You know what? Age of Booty was so many people I think missed out on Age of Booty, and I still get made fun of it to this day for my
Age of Booty, dude.
Hold on. Such a good game.
Never heard
about that booty life, huh?
Yeah, I don't need to know the title of the last Pornhub video that you watched.
Right, bro. That kind of game.
Good one.
Meow. What's up?
No,
Inside joke.
Stop that right meow.
Stop that right meow. So anyway, I'm dying over here, guys. I'm dying. Xbox games with gold lineup. We talked about it enough, I think. Let us know if you guys are gonna play it or not. I think that there's fun to be had there, but if you're not an indie fan, you're not gonna be one, I don't think. So this lineup's not gonna do it for you. So just let us know in the comment section or in the chat. We'll move on to the next topic. This is kind of an interesting topic because I like Spider-Man. Haven't played it. I don't have a PlayStation yet. Anyway, the new patch is bringing in the Sam Raimi suit into Marvel Spider-Man. Sam Raimi, if you guys, am I saying his name right? I don't know. I pronounce things Sam Raimi.
Raimi.
I think someone in the comments section said, "Oh, why do you guys say it this way in America?" It was Laura. I say Laura.
Butcher.
Oh, they're full of shit.
Anyway, Sam Raimi. Who gives a shit, right?
Lara.
Sam Raimi suits. Ooh. Okay, we got a super chat. Butcher Vade. Merry Christmas, dude.
Why do you say it like that? Oh.
I don't know, man. I'm sick. I'm on drugs, dude. I don't know what's going on. Stay salty. Happy holidays. I'm surprised they didn't make me cough. It did something to my lungs. Happy holidays.
Much love, Butcher. Much love. Thank you.
Yes, man. Thank you. I did really appreciate the offering. I went to the hospital with my kid the other day, and he lives in the valley, and he offered to help out, man. Dude's a good guy, so I didn't have to take him up on the offer, but that's cool, man. The outreach has been outstanding online, man. You guys all rock, dude. Guys are amazing. Anyway, so the Sam Raimi costume, it's been much requested in Spider-Man. It's in the game now. I think it's cool. I love those Spider-Mans because they took the genre of the Marvel movies. And they did it good, man. Except for the third one, we don't talk about that one, right? So
that one had its merits. Venom looked like crap, but it had its merits.
Yeah. So once I play Spider-Man, I'm rocking this suit, right? It's just my favorite Spider-Mans are still those initial Sam Raimi ones. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Do you guys have Spider-Man? Anybody here? I
say we make Punk talk about it at this time as punishment since he ponied out for the video game awards.
Because I ponied out. But how can I talk about Spider-Man when every night I play Blackout with your bitch ass?
On what?
I would be playing Blackout if someone kept up their end of the bet, Lex.
What are you talking about, buddy? Shut up.
I thought I was the person on
I'm
drugs.
gonna drop kick you. You've been here for a whole year, all right? You shut the fuck up.
Anyways,
meow, 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 meow.
Meow meow meow. All right, that was that news. We'll move on to the next small. It's not a small topic. It's an interesting one. So Backpack Kid and Carlton from Fresh Prince are trying to sue Epic for dances. I think this is interesting. Is it possible to claim ownership over a dance that you created and that it is used in a video game? I say no. I think it's crazy. I think there's a lot of dances that have been made over the years, and a lot of people have not tried to claim ownership over these and try to get money from it. It's just cash. It's a cash grab.
There's an issue though.
Hold on.
Let
me. I'll just say my points. We'll get the people that are for it first, then we'll get it against it, and we'll go that way. Okay. I say there's a lot of dances out there that people make up. Man, you're moving your arms around, and a dance comes out. And the only reason that they're trying to claim ownership over this is because Epic is, like I said, they're raking in money. They don't know what to do with it. They're throwing it in the furnace at this point. So they have money to be sued for, and people are just reaching. Oh my God, I made this dance was made in a show. I'm the Backpack Kid. I started swinging my arms around. It went viral. Let's get money for it. I say it's stupid. I don't think you can own a dance. I don't think it's property of yours. Let's get the people that are for it real quick. So if you're for the lawsuits and you think it's applicable, then hop in right now, and then we'll get the people that are against it.
Definitely is applicable, and it's something that they can pursue. Backpack Kid, I don't think so much, only because you can't sue saying I made up this dance. No, but you can copyright choreography. So if it has more than one unique dance step, that can be copyrighted, and you can sue for that. The Carlton dance has more than one unique dance style or dance move, and he can very well claim that. And he can say, hey, you guys took my dance, and I have documentation of when it was made, how it was made. I mean, it's there. There's history behind that. Same thing with the Turk dance from Scrubs. That dance was one of the first ones to be ripped off. And he mentioned it when they did their reunion stuff. And the Backpack Kid, there is no other step. So it's just the one movement. So I don't think he has anything for, I don't think he has a case very much. I really don't, because he's got no other steps. So there's no choreography there. But you can sue for choreography. That is a fact. It really is. I mean, you guys can disagree all you want.
So weird.
It's going against Fortnite.
Yep,
and they're suing Fortnite. But no, you can, legally speaking, you can sue for copyright issues.
So if I do someone's copyrighted dance in a video and I put it on YouTube, I could get sued for that? That's weird, man.
You can get copyrighted strike, yes.
Now, here's the
thing too to add on with it, because he's right. No, he's right. Is that people don't realize that dancing is something that can be copyrighted. It's just not a lot of people actively do it. But here's the big thing about the lawsuit that no one went into. The reason that Rubiero is actually suing Epic is not because of the dance, because of the fact that they authorize the sale of it, and they're using his likeness because of the fact that it replicates his very exact movement. It's not so much the dance, but it's the fact of the likeness of his dance.
It's the choreography.
The floss kid with the back, the choreography. No, that is exactly the wording. If you actually go into the lawsuit, it's a lawsuit not just for the dance, but for the likeness of the dance that he created himself. That's the reason that he's going through with the lawsuit and why he's doing it. Because as Native brought up too, is that the dance that Turk did, I can't remember his name, something Donald. Yeah, Donald Pfeiffer from Scrubs. He came up with the idea. But the thing is, these lawsuits do have a lot of grounds. Now, the one who doesn't have the most is Backpack Kid, but he's joining with Rubiero's lawsuit, and he's trying to do it and
settlement. He can get that money on that one. That's all he's doing on that. He's hoping there's a settlement. He can get that money. MJ never sued nobody. Yeah, but MJ did do a lot of dirty stuff. MJ did do a lot of dirty stuff business wise that we don't know. That, you know, if you look into it, he was really ruthless.
How dare you talk about MJ?
No, here's the deal. I'm gonna backpack off what
Backpack Kid.
You know, backpack off a backpack kid.
No. Ever since 1970s, there is a copyright law for choreography, but you do have to file for it. And that's a case that he doesn't have in this because there's no like actual copyright in here. And so they were asking about whether he could do it. He cannot sue them on copyright of choreography because there's no file for it. Anything, the only person who could do that would be NBC because it was done under their show, yada yada yada, and have to go to do it that way. What Bloody said was right though. He's going after the likeness, and the only reason why he may have a case in this one, and there might be a settlement, is because not only did he go after the likeness of his dance, what song is playing in the background whenever they do when you do the emote, they do the song. Yep. It's not unusual. It's a guitar riff to the song that plays in the background. It's obvious what they're doing, and it's obvious of what they did. Like it's obvious that it is that dance from that song. So he has a big case there in those reasons only. He can't. So he's going after likeness, not copyright, because he can't go after copyright because there's no copyright file, anything out there claimed on that. But you can copyright choreography. You can do that.
Yes. There is a legal precedent for that. That's the only point that I wanted to make. Whether or not I want him to do it, whether or not I think that he should be doing it, that's irrelevant to me. All that matters is
I think that honestly he should do it to set a precedent of that. These companies just do it and just like, hey, we can take anything we want and make profit off of it when there's people who actually put more into it than they did.
I agree, and it really does stink. Like 2 Milli wanted to sue them for them putting the Milli Rock in. He won't have a case because once again he didn't copyright the choreography.
People put more into it than they did. I disagree. Someone moved like a clown one day, is just moving around and I created a dance, and then someone's actually got to develop the code to make a character do that. That's a lot.
Everyone does it,
but you can't bypass the legal boundaries that they have. If it's a copyrighted choreography,
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying
how dumb it is, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, but Titan, if you create something, if you create a dance that no one's seen before, and it's all your time, you spend months working on this choreography.
Oh God!
Then a company comes out and takes it and just makes money off of it.
It don't take me months to come up with a song.
Hey, there's a reason why do they got the moonwalk in this game?
Not yet.
Do they have the moonwalk in this game? I wonder why they don't have the moonwalk.
I don't know.
What we're gonna see moving forward, because it took a game like Fortnite. There's never been a game on this level. Like
that's true. They do got the Hotline Blink in Destiny though.
Yeah, but like all these companies are gonna have to take notice now, because what you're saying, the legal precedents. Basically, right? If you do a dance now and it goes big online, right? You're gonna file copyrights on that now, guaranteed. These people are gonna see what's going on now, that there's no legal precedents because they didn't do the right things legally. So what they'll start doing is they're gonna start copyrighting their dance moves, the choreography, putting the legal backings behind that, and then now these companies aren't going to be able to use those dances, so they'll have to create their own, right?
Yeah.
And
that's stupid, and it's more work for the developer because then they got to do legal work. They got to have a legal team looking up all these damn. Oh, did he move his foot to the left and then the right, or did he move it forward and back and then left and right? Like, it's so stupid to me. It is possible, and I can't disagree with the mindset of suing like this anymore. It's just like against my very core.
Hold on, time out. Because people in the chat are now talking about the moonwalks in the Forza game, and this is in that game. You don't know if these companies didn't file the right to use it or not. We don't know their budget on that.
Mm-hmm.
What we do know is that this dude is suing Fortnite because he possibly has a case. If you think that he didn't have a case, you think his lawyer would say, "Yeah, do it." No, his lawyer told him, "Don't do it."
It's
But
just,
if
lawyers
he's got
aren't yes
guidance
men.
in this,
This
if
shit-
he has guidance in it, he's doing it for a reason.
this shit reminds me
Right.
of like when that lady spilled coffee on herself
Oh,
at
God.
McDonald's.
Exactly.
You know
You
what I'm
didn't know the
Exactly.
coffee was hot.
Hey,
But goddamn, I didn't know the
sounds
coffee was hot.
stupid.
It didn't say hot on the cup. It's like, are you an idiot?
It also falls
hang
in.
on,
This also
hang
goes-
on. Before you
Please
go
don't
any
argue
further,
this. This is a
good debate.
note
I
the
like this.
fact.
Oh,
no,
God.
Note the fact that the temperature of that coffee
Oh.
left 3rd and 4th degree burns on her crotch. Okay, coffee should not be that hot.
Okay.
That is
Oh,
over.
God.
Here,
Oh, my
here.
mother.
We're
Oh,
going.
my
Let's
God.
not talk.
No. I'm just saying.
We're getting.
Here we go.
Let's stay on the
Went
topic.
from
Make
Fortnite
that
to
goddamn
coffee.
fact.
Stay on
I'm
topic.
just bringing the comments
Yeah.
back to Sam.
All right, let's stay on the topic. We're not talking about
man's
we're
lying.
not talking about the McDonald's lawsuit. I just
Look, I just
made it
wanted
an
to do it.
example from it. Okay.
Hold on,
It's
real quick. You're right. This is a common sense issue. If you don't know coffee is hot, maybe you shouldn't be drinking coffee.
Now, if
maybe
she-
you shouldn't try
If she
out
wants
new
to,
things.
if she wants to sue him for how hot the coffee was, that's fine. That's why at Starbucks I get my coffee and it's perfect temperature because they don't want to get sued over that. What I'm
just
trying to
know we
say
have
is
funny
it's
haters
the
in the
legal
chat.
it's the legal precedences of people just trying to get money. Like Carlton's like, damn,
Right.
I haven't had a job in a while. How can I make money? Let's sue Fortnite or let's sue Epic. It's like they have a lot of money. Let's get some money. You know what I'm saying?
I
agree with
don't
you
think
so
it's as simple
I
as that,
agree with you
though.
partly on that statement. I just can't believe we got so many haters in the chat right now. Like
It
that's
also reminds
what's
me.
killing me.
This also reminds me of the reason for warning labels on like Lysol that say like "Don't eat this" because someone ate it.
Don't drink this whole
Like,
bottle.
Exactly.
Well, we had the Tide Pod challenge, right? So
Next topic.
anyway,
Hey, I mean,
yeah,
you
let's,
know.
let's move on, man. This is an illegal show, so we'll move on to the next
that
topic.
got salty.
Yeah, it's a salty topic. I
that
love
was
it.
a salty
Dude,
cake.
but-
I love it.
Hey, that's what this channel is, though.
Sure.
I mean, it's the saltiest gaming podcast.
Man. We love it. We love
I
bringing
heard
this
you
all
do,
here.
man.
So Razer announces Xbox One wireless mouse and keyboards coming next year, and guess what price it is? $250 USD, and you could slap a keyboard on your lap, and you can be like the PC elitists out there for a small little price of $250. Who's gonna buy this shit? Not me.
Yeah, dude, who
I can just
wouldn't
buy
want to
it.
spend
Let-
$150 on the Elite
Hold
controller?
on, let me ask you a question real quick because
Me.
I'm really ignorant to this. Is there
Like most
will
things.
shut the fuck up. Is any mouse and keyboard compatible with the Xbox? Are they only making it certain mouse and keyboards? Let me just start there.
Not sure. I just know that
I
they're
thought-
partnering with Razer. They're partnering.
I
with
thought
Razer.
any USB. I read somewhere that any USB
Yeah.
keyboard will do it.
Okay, that's cool. Then why don't you just buy some cheap Razer that comes up on sale on Amazon and go with that way? There's plenty of packages that go on sale.
You know what,
Because
Razer-
That's
it
too
also-
much.
It's Razer.
You also got to think about the length of the wires for the wired keyboards. You got to think about the distance because the reason that this one is it's wireless. So unless you
Yeah.
want to get like a little dongle and use a cheapo wireless keyboard and mouse, you do that. You do it.
And
just
you
get a
might be
dongle.
getting what you pay for because I would imagine there's some type of input lag reduction in this thing. It
Yeah.
probably goes so
I
you
agree with
might
that.
be getting what you pay because if you buy a cheapo wireless keyboard and mouse, you're gonna get some lag. You're gonna get some input lag there.
Also, I think that the Razer keyboard and mouse thing has something unique where it has like a pull-out little drawer with it that you can use the mouse on. I don't see that on many other keyboards. I don't even know if that's a thing.
It's true.
So, I mean, I'm not going to put a desk in front of my TV
Mhm.
just so that I can use mouse and keyboard. You know what I mean? So, I think that is the price point is ridiculous. Trust me. I
$250, dude.
have been screaming for keyboard and mouse support on Xbox One. I was screaming for it on the Xbox 360 because I just love mouse and keyboard. I always have. So, $250 is insane.
Thing is, it's the first
I might
iteration.
get it, but I
250
don't
is
know.
ridiculous.
It's the first
It's wild.
iteration, and when something comes out initially, it's
expensive.
always overpriced. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what? This thing does look cool as nuts,
It
man.
looks
I don't know
amazing.
about
Dude.
all that. I mean,
I like.
Oh,
I mean, Dude, man, I like playing with the lights on, but if I ever got this
Okay,
thing,
we got
Hey,
Nick
I got-
talking
I got
about
the-
doesn't look
I got
good,
the
but this
Razer
is the same guy that has pink
Wolverine.
Joy-Cons. Come on, dude.
I'm
Come
just
on.
saying. I'm just
Come
saying.
on,
That
dude.
keyboard
Don't give
looks
me that.
high. I got a Razer right here in front of me. It looks dope. It looks doper than
Yeah.
the one that they had in the picture.
I got the Razer Wolverine, right? The wired controller, the elite one for the Xbox, and it has the chroma that changes colors, and I love the hell out of that shit.
Me too, dog. My tur's cool.
Ooh, shout out to some guy in the chat there. It also has programmable lights that developers can
That's
use
cool.
to show stuff like health. That is that's pretty dope. I mean, if they can do that and if they are doing it, then it might well be worth it.
I always wondered how this mouse and keyboard support would be implemented, and they kind of answered my questions with it sitting on your lap like that. Because I was like, what are you going to do? Pull out a TV dinner tray from back in the day and put that in front of you?
I mean,
you know?
hey,
Yeah,
the
that's how you
parents
do it.
neglect me.
I
The
still
parents
have
neglect
those.
me dinner
Yeah,
table.
chat. Let us know if you had a TV
Change
dinner,
the
a
colors
TV
on
dinner
my
tray
keyboard.
back in the day. I want to know, dude. I was poor growing up, so we had those TV dinner trays. Man, they were like plastic and shit. Look horrible, weird colors, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, you had the plastic ones? We
Yeah,
actually
dude.
had the wood one.
Okay. So TV
We had
dinner
the fancy-
trays. I'll have to go online on Amazon and get me one of those and just get a cheap ass, mouse and keyboard. But I have a PC and I don't want to use mouse and keyboards to F all that, man. I don't care. I don't care about mouse and keyboards. So anyway, it's an interesting topic. I just think it's too much, man. $250. That's like the price of an Xbox One S, right? $250. You can get a whole.
Who
console
buys
for
those
that.
though?
Yeah, who buys
I mean,
those?
only 40 million people have bought.
You could
those.
buy
I
a
mean,
PlayStation Slim for that too, man. So
I know, exactly.
that's
More
crazy.
people are buying
It's
that.
Crazy. So we'll move on to the next topic. Move on. Chad, if you want to get a Razer, do it. Whatever. This is a cool little story. Microsoft's doing some cool shit, man, when it comes to the outreach of the community and doing stuff with, I just like what they're doing. So anyway, 343 Industries partners with Limitless. It's like spelled like limb. It's hard to say. It's Limitless for Halo-themed prosthetics. They're going to be able to
Limbless? You mean limbless?
limbless.
look at this. If I could show you the word, it's
Limbless.
Limbitless. Limbitless, right? So it's like
Limitless.
Is that a
limitless.
play on limbless?
That's some
and
wordplay,
limitless?
Yeah, it's a wordplay. Anyway, they're designing arms that like Master Chief, and it looks like a bionic arm. It looks cool as hell, man. And
Yeah.
What? Wait, hang on. You said it was Limitless, right? Wasn't that the same company that partnered with Square Enix to make the
Yes.
the arms that was based off Adam Jensen's from
Yeah, DSX.
yes,
SX?
yes,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's dope. I completely condone what they
So
do.
in this picture, I could share my screen, but I'm not going to do it. You could choose your class. You could choose your class. You could choose your sleeve. You could choose the color set. It looks like Master Chief in this picture. You could deck it out. And Halo, their official Twitter account said, "We're incredibly honored to announce a collab with the amazing team at Limitless 3D to offer Halo-themed bionic arm prosthetics to deserving young heroes. Read more about the partnership here." So it's just cool, man. I mean, if you have something like that where you need a prosthetic and you could get a Master Chief arm, that would be cool as hell, man. Imagine walking up into your elementary school or wherever you are and rocking that. That is cool as hell, man. So what do you guys think of this story, just real quick?
I think it's awesome, man. Crazy
Yep.
cool. You go to Iraq, you lose your arm or
Yep.
something. At least you got something to look forward to. Hey, man, I get this cool ass
Yep.
bionic friggin'. It's something.
Yeah, that's definitely one route. And then you also have the kids that look at that and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna have an arm as strong as Master Chief, or I'm gonna have an arm like this person or like that character of these games that I love, these games that I play.
It's pretty sick.
That's neat. But I'm also thinking, is this the start of Skynet? I mean, they started with the arm.
Skynet.
There's a reason why in Terminator 2, the dude showed his arm. The arm was in the jar. I mean, come on.
True. I
It's
love
happening.
that movie. I love that movie. Shout out to Terminator 2.
Yeah,
and
but I
Terminator
do
1.
love this. It's amazing. It's just like the adaptive controller,
Adaptive controls are
Microsoft and 343 and all these different companies doing these things for people with disabilities, with adversities, physical adversities, mental adversities, things like that. The way that they're just approaching that and bringing them into something, something bigger than themselves, where it's it's gaming, it's just the love, it's the community, all that stuff, dude. It's amazing, man. It's amazing.
This is something that deserves to be celebrated. You know, someone did something for somebody else. Those are the things that should be celebrated nowadays and age. And it's just not that way. And that just really makes
negativity, right? Negativity drives the headlines. This, like, honestly, like, this will get pushed to the back of the headlines and stuff. That's why I wanted to bring it up, especially this time of year, you know. So I think shout out to everybody that works on these projects, because it's cool as hell. I love video games, and I love the fact that they're trying to implement this stuff for those that have disabilities. I think that the adaptive controller is amazing. I love the commercial they did for that. Anybody else have some thoughts before we move on? Okay.
Is anybody buying the Xbox doll for Christmas?
The Xbox doll. That's like the go-to.
Yeah.
That's definitely an industry.
But for real, like, you're absolutely right on this, Salty, that any negative or stupid other story is going to take precedent over something like this. This is one of those things that shows just how dedicated Microsoft is to doing a lot of charity, as well as enabling accessibility to all people. Like, everyone knows how big Halo is for fans, whether you're an Xbox person or not. Everyone recognizes what Halo has done for gaming and what a company like Limitless is doing for those. Now, to give those people and partner with them to say, hey, look, everyone likes Halo, recognize Halo. We're going to work with this company and make people special limbs based off of our designs for our characters and stuff like that. That makes those feel like one of a kind and makes them feel special, because of the fact that it connects them to that series all the more. Like, people don't understand the kind of sentiment that little thing can do for someone. Like, that is one of the most touching and coolest things that they've done, besides everything else that they've done with empowering girls with the dolls, and then showing what they've done with the adaptive controller for handy-capable people to be able to game now. Like, this is just these little things that really need to be recognized on just how cool and what is being done.
That is the fact.
Well
all right.
Well said.
Anyway, I think it's a cool story, but we'll move on to the next topic here. It's in the headlines, and I almost missed it. PlayStation's planning to put all exclusives on all devices. What's going on here, guys? Like, Xbox is talking about it. Now there's a job listing for PlayStation exclusively. There's the job postings hinting at doing the same thing that Xbox has announced that they're trying to work for. It wasn't, the wording was a little bit different, didn't mention specifics, but you could kind of read between the lines and see where this is going. I kind of went on Twitter, and there's some posts that, you know, PlayStation fanboys put on there kind of dogging Xbox and saying Xbox is going to have an app on PlayStation and all this other stuff, and that the fanboys were freaking out. And then this job listing comes out, and I kind of called some people out on it, and I haven't got any responses back. They've been super quiet, you know. So the proof is in the pudding. I've said this before. PlayStation's not that good at innovating. They're good at copying, and it's no surprise at all that they're going to be going the same route as Xbox, because you saw it with PlayStation Now. They changed their stance on the streaming only side, and they are letting their gamers download specific titles, so they're copying the Game Pass models there. And then now with this job posting, it looks like they're going to be trying to get PlayStation Now on as many devices as possible. So this is a competition thing. And what do you guys think of this, man? What do you think of this job listing?
You know what? Honestly, PlayStation did it first. Way back then, they already had the idea. Xbox copied them, and that's just the way that it goes, man. Xbox has been copying PlayStation for the past few years. And Titan knows what I'm talking about. Titan knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Titan.
He will never admit it.
Xbox has been copying PlayStation for years, and that's just the way it's gonna go. That's just the way it's gonna go.
I have never seen more backtracking, damage control, and alienation of Twitter on any other subject ever. This is the triple threat of all the ponies' worst fears. It's like, this has been a horrible 10 months for them. And, like, seriously, get these guys out, because they're disappearing. I'm starting to get worried for them. We need to put them on milk boxes, because they're just gone right now.
You know what I gotta say?
Jesus.
I love the just the deafening silence that hit as soon as I started saying what I was saying. That was amazing, guys. Thank you for that.
You just
Phenomenal.
how you lob that in there for him to slam dunk it.
Oh, I was
beautiful.
beautiful. I love it.
Oh my god. But no, it's definitely true though. I mean, Microsoft comes out, they try something new, they implement something different, and here we go. We're back at it again. You know what I mean?
This goes back to the innovation stuff I mentioned earlier.
Exactly. The Zune, Apple. I mean, just all these different things. It's the same. It's going down the same line. And it happens. It's almost like every other generation it hits. You know what I mean? Like one generation, Microsoft does something, they get all kinds of shit for it. And then what happens? The industry ends up moving that way. Look at the always online requirement that Xbox came out with. Everybody shit all over it. And now everything is always online. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, think about this too. That's exactly how Steam worked before Xbox One implemented it, because people forget that when you first sign into Steam, you have to be connected to internet to check your licenses for the games you own in your Steam library before you could play them offline. It's something that's been done, and it's this constant back and forth with everything that they do that others do and gets praised for, and yet when they do it, it's seen as like a sin. Has just been the most aggravating thing. Because again, with Steam alone, look at what they first wanted to do. They wanted to do the family sharing, where you could share your digital library with up to 10 friends and family instead of the game sharing that we have now. But people didn't want that because of DRM. What they do, they pulled it off. And then guess what happened? Steam does it a year and a half later, and suddenly Steam is praised as the gods of the internet that they supposedly are, because they're like, oh, we can share our Steam library with 10 friends. Thank you, Gabe Newell. You are a god. No, that's what everyone else wanted to do. That's what Microsoft wanted to do. But everyone hated it. But as soon as Steam does it, everything's perfectly all right, right? No.
Well, it's the same thing with PlayStation that's happening now. I mean, it's the same exact thing. Microsoft comes out, they start doing their thing. They're talking about Xbox app and, oh, you're not exclusives anymore. Well, here comes PlayStation following suit, doing the same exact thing, because that's where the industry is moving. But a lot of people don't have that foresight. A lot of people don't have that sight to say, okay, where's the industry moving? Where is it? What's trending right now with the industry, with this company? What's making moves? They don't have that foresight. They're stuck in
the traditional aspect of thinking, and that's the sad part, is that people aren't realizing that, as you put it, they're not having the foresight to look at what the direction of the industry is moving. But at the same time, they're not understanding that for innovation and industries to grow, there has to be some continual change. And we see that services are the big push. That is what's going to drive it. You know, as we said earlier, consoles, while still being a thing, aren't going to be where the future is. It's like in music and everything else. If you stay the same, you will not be able to keep doing the numbers and sales that you do. That's why bands change their sound over time, because they adapt and see the trends coming. That's what people need to realize. Video games in our industry is no different than music, than television, than anything else that has come before it.
Yeah.
True. I just love the fact that, you know, and either Punk or Nintendo, because I feel you two are the more level-headed. You know, sometimes I let my inner Xbox fan, you know, get the best of me, but I just want you to kind of, you know, I want to hear your guys' stance on this, like, because I love the fact that Sony fans just lost the term exclusives, essentially. You know, all their games are going to all devices, therefore they're not all exclusives.
Oh, no, Titan, here's the best part. You want to know the rationale about that? It's old PS3 games, or it's PS4 games that are like 2-3 years old. They don't matter anymore. It's not the new exclusives going in day and day.
Wait, are we kind of putting the horse before the carriage here? Because
that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. I've seen that argument so often. I'm just like, dude, you don't realize that for them to make it enticing enough for people, they're gonna have to copy Game Pass and put exclusives day and date.
they're either going to have to do it or get left behind. So Punk or Nick, let me know because you guys are the more level-headed too. So I really want to hear your guys' opinion on this.
I think I was level-headed.
I think you think I'm level-headed because I own a PlayStation or something. You're like, he likes PlayStation.
Right.
You're level-headed guy.
You guys own other consoles. You're level-headed.
It's because you took the pony during the Game Awards.
So Nintendo plays Nintendo. That doesn't mean anything, but you're level-headed, so.
Thing is, I'm
The rest of the panel is just fanboys. Like, it is what it is.
Well, do you agree with me or disagree? Or
So what do you specifically ask me? What do I think about fanboys or what do I think about the situation?
No, about the situation. And how,
Okay.
The situation and how. Yeah.
The situation is, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I have to just agree with half of what Bloody said. Like, they salty. They just, now that they're doing it, it's okay. That narrative's going to happen. The media's going to say, they're just going to pat him on the back once again. And the only funny thing though is like, since Nintendo's the only one with true exclusives at this point, I can just sort of throw that back. No. So there you go. I'm just going to throw a little shade right back at him. Well, we got exclusives over here. We got him over here. The rest of them all peasants do not.
Called him level-headed. Now he's got a platform to stand up because he said, Titan co-signed me to say I'm level-headed. So here I'm gonna.
But all that jokes aside, let's just be real. Like, they would have had to do this eventually. They're just trying to get ahead. They're trying to stay ahead right now, dude. They're trying to stay ahead. So
dude, look, it's just like the NFL like to say. It's a copycat league. Like everyone, that's what they do. It's the name of the game. And it's kind of like they say if you can't beat them, join them. It's like, yes, they're beating us, like sale wise. If you want to go that route, but who the hell cares? It makes zero sense.
They're winning at something that only the extremists care about, really. I mean, that's the console sold. I mean,
but see, here's the thing. This is also what I think of right when you said that, Punk, was PlayStation's like, we're winning right now. We're ahead of the game. And Microsoft is saying, yeah, that's totally fine. But we're looking 10 years down the line. We're looking 10, 20 years down the line, and we're setting ourselves up. And sad to say, but PlayStation is now playing catch up with as far as foresight. I mean,
I don't know if they're playing. Well, they're playing catch up.
They're playing catch up because now they have to try and build the infrastructure and everything else to support it.
Yeah, they know they have to have the service. They have to have the service.
Exactly. But by the time the next generation comes out, they're gonna be caught up.
All right,
don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that PlayStation is behind in any means as far.
I know. I get what you're saying. You're saying just on ideas only and intellect. It seems like Xbox has all these ideas. Xbox has all these dope ideas coming out. Everybody, they're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to do this. We've been hearing it for the last year. And everybody said, oh, nobody cares. Who cares? Sony still has all the exclusives. And then Sony does the same thing. And everything is just like, now they're backtracking. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and they got to get the feature going on their hottest selling console right now. They got to get that going now before next gen. Facts.
I mean, I feel that.
Nick, I got something for you. You're talking about how Nintendo's the only company with exclusives, right? That's true because they're the only company with so much exclusives that they had to make a virtual box and use illegal ROMs for their own games because they can't even make those old games anymore. Just saying.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Soldier Boy?
What?
You talking about Soldier Boy over here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, more facts for you. Microsoft already has a working streaming with extremely low latency, supposedly service, and PlayStation is just now hiring positions to create that service.
That's true. Azure. Azure.
Years behind the eight ball.
And now they're playing catch up as far as their infrastructure goes, as far as their foresight of where the industry's heading. They're playing catch up now. They're hiring for that.
So I'm done coughing my lungs out. For
at least they're playing catch up. We don't. As far as we can tell, at least they're playing catch up. Me over here being a fan of Nintendo and being on Nintendo, like I don't see no catch up right now. So at least Sony got it.
Nick, don't even go there. Okay, your online is complete
Excuse
catch up.
me.
All right.
Did you not hear what I just said?
Host of the show here. Let me speak my mind here.
This dude was like, Nick, don't say that, even though you just said that.
Anyway, we beat that story and that topic into the ground. I think that
I was having fun.
PlayStation is behind the gun when it comes to the infrastructure. I don't think they're going to be able to catch up because there's so many things that Microsoft is doing over these years. It's taken time to implement a lot of this stuff. Backwards compatibility is namely one of those things. It's not like you could just vomit all complete library of titles out and everything's ready to go. The backwards compatible titles have been released over time. It takes time to get the licensing and all that other stuff. And then you're talking about the infrastructure when it comes to the cloud. You're talking about Game Pass. They're building their library up there. Everything. So all this stuff is taken into account. And if you talk to people that follow the industry, Xbox has a leg up going forward into the next generation. Like PlayStation has the lead now when it comes to PlayStations, but things are going to change next gen, and it's interesting to look where that's going to go. But that kind of segues into the next topic, because the new Xbox rumors have been spread around during the last a day or so, and they're coming from Thurrot's Brad Sams. If you guys don't know who that guy is, he's on YouTube. He has a lot of good sources when it comes to Xbox and Microsoft, and he has very reliable sources. The things he talks about usually come true. He talked about a diskless Xbox One coming in the spring of 2019. So there's rumors now that we're going to be getting 4 consoles in the upcoming years here. So we're going to get that diskless Xbox One, which is going to be the Xbox One S. Yes, the Xbox One S. Codename Maverick, and there's going to be a plan that allows you to turn in your physical copies into digital copies, which is interesting. That's going to be codenamed Roma. So they have a plan there to get people on board with the digital space, which is interesting. They're saying that this Xbox One S revision is going to be a lot cheaper to manufacture, which is going to make it a lot cheaper at a price point. So maybe $100 price point there. The Xbox Scarlett, as you guys have heard, is rumored to have a couple iterations. One is codename Lockhart. It's going to be the most affordable SKU, or SKU, like I say, which would be roughly as powerful as the Xbox One X and would serve as a base for streaming games. So there's going to be a little bit of tweaks under the hood, but it's going to be about as powerful as the Xbox One X. I don't know if this is going to mean that the Xbox One S, as we know it, and the Xbox One X are going to be phased out, which I think that the S for sure is going to be phased out, and that'd be replaced by the diskless Xbox. And then the big, the thing that you guys all came here to listen to, another is codenamed the Anaconda. Yes, the Anaconda. We've already heard about the next generation, and that Microsoft does not want to give up that power narrative. So the dev kit, the code name is called Anaconda, and this is going to be the most powerful console that we've ever seen on the market. It's rumored to be using AMD x86 processors, and it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be competing with PCs and all that. So what do you guys think of all these types of models coming out? Do you think this is too much for Xbox? Do you think that people are going to get confused? The consumers out there, I've seen some of these people saying this is too much, but they have their phones that they get, and they're not confused there when there's a bunch of different options with their phones. There's a bunch of different options with cars. You don't see people getting blowback from that, or TVs. But when it's the console space, if you have multiple SKUs there, people are going to get confused. What do you guys think of this? These rumors?
I'd like the microphone for a minute, real quick.
That's all you need to know.
It's like the writing on the wall was there, right? But I feel like to everyone else, everyone just saw hieroglyphics, really. And it's like, I feel only a few people in the community could decipher the inscription on it, because you could believe me or not, but you can ask Colt Eastwood and Dealer Gaming, because these are the two guys I had multiple conversations about like 10 months ago about the next generation of console. And this is 10 months ago, okay? And they'll back me up. I said there would be more than one version of console. I said there would be a diskless option, although I thought it would be for the next gen only. But because we might get a current diskless option for the current gen. But but still, I called that, and there's the big one I said was for the first time that SSDs would be making their way into console. And people said, well, Titan, it's going to be too expensive. And I said, call me crazy, but I think it's going to happen. And these are all bold predictions made over 10 months ago that are all falling into place. I was like, I'm seriously like the guru for this next coming up generation. I'm telling you, if you guys listen to me, you'll learn something. But Microsoft is absolutely poised for the next gen. So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about SSD making their way into the next generation console for the first time?
Well, it's not unfeasible. It's not something that it would never happen because it's always going to remain expensive. No, I mean, you look at terabyte hard drives, you look at, bigger memory and everything like that, it goes cheaper as technology advances. And that's just the way it is. By the time that this thing is ready to hit mass production, SSDs will be at a reasonable price where Microsoft can put them into their consoles. That's what I think anyway.
You know what? And SSDs aren't confirmed, but I mean, it's sure. There was an article just recently, or a video, and I think Dealer went into it in one of his recent videos, and he just mentioned that. So,
yeah, I mean, it's like I said, everything drops in price as technology advances. So by the time that comes out, maybe there will be something new.
Well, to me, it wasn't even the price point. To me, it was like I was looking at the current gen's problems, right? And loading times is one of the biggest problems, and SSD is the clear solution for that.
Yeah, cuts it damn near in half. So that, if they do go that route and they have something implemented where it, like, shout out to Crazy Greek Dude, a hybrid SSD HDD, something along those lines, they have room to work with. They have a lot of room. Microsoft is a software company, but they have a lot invested into hardware. So we'll see what can happen there. We'll see how they can implement their software to suit, a possible SSD. But honestly, dude, when it comes to multiple SKUs releasing, I mean, who's to say they're all going to release at the same time? Are they going to be like delayed release? We don't know those yet. We don't know those details yet. So just like with the Xbox One and then the Xbox One S and then the Xbox One X, you know what I mean? Like that happened over a series, over a few years. So just there's rumor.
I personally do think they're going to release with at least two options. I'm thinking, I think the Anaconda and whatever the other one is nicknamed, the lower end one.
I think it's going to be the Diskless S and the possibly the codename Anaconda, but I could have sworn it was codename Python because that's all I'm seeing on Twitter. That's what I'm looking at this YouTube screen right now is a Python, not an Anaconda.
They're using the wrong snake, huh?
Here's the thing, though. With what you're saying about the SSD Titan, it's a natural progression. All right. We already saw what they did naturally with the internal hard disk drive with what we saw back on the Xbox on the OG, and then how they had the external that was swappable on the 360. And then now how we have a nice built-in terabyte hard drive. And now we're starting to see, as Crazy Greek Dude and what Native was talking about, is that there was a hybrid SSD HDD. They did it on that special edition Xbox One Elite console that came with the Elite controller a couple years back. It had a hybrid drive. Yeah, it was one of the really cool ones that was still using the OG fat Xbox One. It was the Elite console. Okay. It had a hybrid.
Yeah, I remember that.
It had a hybrid drive. Them doing now a full SSD is just a natural progression, because the thing about SSDs, why we didn't see it with the One X, is that right now, while SSDs have been coming down in price, it is still not viable enough to use to put in that console for that price point, because of the fact that it's still very expensive. Now, come 2-3 years from now,
I do think the Anaconda is the only one going to be with the SSD. I could be wrong.
Oh, absolutely. There's absolutely no denying that the Anaconda, if that is pushing for their big the Onyx successor, it is going to be the one that has that option. This option is not gonna have that. I'm pretty sure it's gonna have the the hard disk drive, or maybe if they really want to be fancy, they might do the hybrid drives and the Lockhart or the 250 streaming box or diskless drive or whatever it is. But I can guarantee that whichever one the Anaconda is, whichever is supposed to be the Onyx successor, that's the one that's going to have a pure SSD for load times, as well as because of the fact that the price will be a lot more viable to be able to put it into those machines, besides what the fact of everything else that they're doing. Because remember that right now the early reports, and again, these are early reports and rumors, we don't know the exact stats, that they're supposed to be going into Ryzen cores, as well as using the new AMD architecture that they're specifically using for the next Xbox as well as the next PlayStation.
Those two
doing.
facts
So
are
know
guaranteed.
Those are
guaranteed.
Those aren't yes,
guaranteed.
but
those are a guarantee.
But again, we don't know exactly what, or if they're not going to use a modified core like we saw with the Jaguar cores that were modified for the Onyx, or if they're going to use a traditional. So we don't know if they're going to use a modified Ryzen or anything like that. So again,
let me hop in real quick.
There's several things to take into account with that, because the fact that we're just getting rumors.
Can you guys hear me?
But those are the things that got to be taken into account with the price point as well for this. So with a lot of these aspects, these are natural progressions of what we're seeing with technology, as well as at that point, there's going to be enough time that the prices are going to make it at a viable option to be able to put in a console of that magnitude, as well as a point or as a price point that is introducible for the consumers at that point.
Apparently, if I have my mic muted on Google Hangouts, you guys can't hear me, because I was trying to talk. I was like, damn, bloody, I'm trying to talk. Let me talk, dude. But I was muted. The chat could hear me, but you couldn't hear me. So I've been seeing some things. Yeah, it's weird shit. It's weird shit. Anyway, so I've been seeing some things in the chat with the price point and stuff like that. Like, I think the Xbox One X was just a test. Okay, so they bring out this extremely powerful console. It's a mid-gen refresh type situation. And there was all kinds of blowback from that. And people were like, oh, nobody's going to pay $500 for that console. 400's that special point where it needs to be. And if you go over that, it's not going to sell. We look at the results. The Xbox One X is selling very well. It's doing very well. So that was the test for Xbox before they thought about doing all that. I'm sure they had these plans for years, right? So like, let's get out this Xbox One X. That it's super powerful, but we're just testing the market for these options. So then this Anaconda situation, I think people are underestimating how powerful this console is going to be. This console, so since they're going to have like different options, right? The diskless Xbox One S and this and that, and the little bit more powerful Xbox One X model, which is going to be lower in cost, right? It's going to be, probably what, $400 or something like that. This Anaconda is going to be so much more powerful and so much more expensive. You're not going to be able to confuse it with the other ones, right? This is going to be that premium console that people were thinking about, the Xbox One X, that definitely competes with the PC market. So you're looking at. Go ahead. I think it's going to be around $800, right? Something like that.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right, bold take. All right.
I think they've tested the market with consumer viability in the desire to have a powerful console, and I think the market is there. So obviously, it's going to take some good coin to buy this, but people are dropping $1,000 on their phone easy, right? And that's like at a 2-year period on average, right? They have ways to get these phones for cheaper. You can put them on credit card or whatever you need to do, but people like tech and they like having the fancy shit and the most powerful stuff. So there will be a market for a premium, the most powerful shit you could ever get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I was saying I just want to backtrack a little bit to my point where I was saying we don't know the timeline of these releases. We don't know if this Anaconda $800 console is going to release with the diskless Xbox. We don't know the timeline. If there really is 4 SKUs, we don't know how they're going to be spaced out at what point. Just like with the X. The X released at the end of the Xbox One generation, towards the back end of it. That's when they released the most powerful one.
They're not. These aren't. This one. The Anaconda is not a mid-gen refresh, though. It is a different option for gamers. So they're gonna release this. Now the Anaconda and the what the fuck ever is the weak one. Thank you.
Lockhart.
Those two are going to release at the same time. As far as the streaming box is really the only question, and I think the discless option is going to come out in 2019, and that's probably going to be a current gen.
So $600. So if it's $600, then you guys are willing to pay that, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. If the Xbox One X trade-in value is less than the discless Xbox One S, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm not trading in my One X because I got the Scorpio edition, and that's staying a collectible.
Yeah, but anyway, going back, there was something that I had right on the tip of my tongue, and then Bloody spoke, and then it went away because it just dumbed down everything.
I'm sorry that your short term is worse than Dorothy, and you can't remember what the fuck you were saying.
It's just if the way that technology is priced right now, and in order for them to get like an extreme, like with the GPUs, CPUs, and all this price, it's just like I'm trying to add up stuff, and for them to make a system that is like future proof and have all this technology in there, something's got to give. I mean, maybe my 800 price point is pretty high, but 600 to 800 range I think isn't out of that. I think they were just testing the market, and I think if they show that this console is worth your price point, I don't think consumers have a problem buying it. It's hard to like get outside that box of what we've been paying for systems, but we haven't ever been pushing into this territory where we're trying to compete with PCs and stuff. And like owning a PC now, I know it's just expensive, and I know that they can cut costs by having, partnerships with certain companies and stuff, but it costs money. I mean, it costs
so
money.
I have a question for you guys, for anybody who wants to speak up on this. But you have the discless Xbox One S, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have Lockhart, correct? Lockhart is the quote-unquote lower...
and it's Anaconda and Lockhart.
Okay,
Lockhart's
so Lockhart.
Going to be kind of like the X, but a little bit more powerful.
If the Lockhart comes out and it's just an Xbox One X, but with an SSD in it, what does that do for you guys? What does that show you guys when it comes to the Anaconda? Why not? That's my question.
Because they're going to upgrade the architecture, and they're going to have Ryzen 2 Zen cores in them. It's going to, even that one's going to have a Ryzen 2 Zen core, which is going to be much more capable than the current Xbox One X.
So my question is,
but he was asking, what is this? At the base model, the cheaper end is basically equivalent to what we have now on our high end for this gen. What does that show us for their? No. But he's saying if the Lockhart, which is a cheaper version, comes out, and it's comparable to what we have with the X.
Just erase that from your mind.
Here's the thing. I am not an absolutist like you. I don't think in black and white. I'm always looking at. I'm a critical thinker. I'm thinking critically here. So think critically and ask yourself, if the Lockhart model is just an X with an SSD and maybe, another piece thrown in to kind of vamp it up a little bit, but it's essentially just an Xbox One X, what does that spell for the Anaconda? Would you consider Lockhart truly the next gen console? Do you consider next gen Lockhart a next gen console if that's the case? And then
the thing, I know what it's gonna be like, so I don't need to I don't need to think critically on it, because it's gonna have Zen 2 architecture. It's gonna be much better, much more capable than the Xbox One X. I promise you.
I don't think so, Titan, because you're going with what we can assume and what the little bit that we know, but you're not thinking about the possibility, which is what he's trying to get you to think of, is that he's trying to get you to use the fact of.
I'm trying to get you to maintain your expectations, because with the conversation and the way that it's going, it's like it's all 4 SKUs are next gen except for the discless, and I'm saying no, I don't think so. I think if anything, they'll release something like just like they do with the Xbox. They do this every generation. They say, okay, here's the brand new Xbox. And then they drop another one exactly the same, but they call it a Slim. They call it an S. The Xbox One, Xbox One S,
Xbox One 360. You had the Pro, the Arcade, and then the Elite, and then later then you had the 360 Slim, and then later you had the 360S that was similar to what they were gonna do with the Xbox One. It was similar style. Like
Exactly.
he's not wrong.
I'm gonna
Bring
take
Native, it makes a very good point there, Titan. And honestly, Native, and my thought process on this, if Lockhart is comparable or slightly better than what we have with the X, then that just goes to show what a lot of us were thinking, is that the X was a testing ground for what they can do for the next generation with one, building the architecture, figuring out the form factor, testing out these new techniques that they did with like the Hosen technique, where they added the vapor cooling and the way that it powers and runs the whole system. That shows that this was to kind of get an idea on what they want to do for the next gen, because that means hitting 4K resolutions is going to be the big aspect. But that means that their true powerhouse next gen console is going to push that 4K 60 narrative, not this 8K everything that everyone wants to believe. No, it's hitting that and maintaining that consistent 4K 60 while making sure the system continues to run smoothly and faster for the people that want that. That's what this is going to prove, if that is the case.
My whole thing is just timeline. Let's look at the timeline. What's the possible timeline look like? There's no way in fucking hell that they're going to release all four.
There's not
within
it's not
a year of each other.
It's not going to happen.
I would think, honestly, Lockhart's going to launch first, and
that's going to be the next gen console, dude. So
that's going to be the next gen starter,
and then the Anaconda is going to be the upgraded one, or
exactly.
The one
and I think that with everyone thinking that everything's going to launch in 2020, I think they would do Lockhart as their launch console for 2020, and then either in 2021 when it becomes viably price, that's when we'll see Anaconda come out and they start talking about it.
The discless Xbox One S is not a next gen console. It's just it's a modified S.
I think if that, I honestly think that they'll talk about. They say as early as spring of next year. I don't think so. I think if they do it, they'll probably put it closer to summer, like right around E3. Yeah. Honestly, either before or after. And if they do it during at E3, they're like, hey, we're going to show it off here on stage and be like, hey, next week this is going on sale for everyone who wants it. There you go.
There's nothing they need to do except take the disc drive out with the Xbox One S.
Yeah,
they need to take that thing out, get it out there, and sell it for dirt cheap so they can sell those consoles.
So if the Lockhart is the next gen console that competes with PlayStation 5, what would the price point be for the Lockhart? So what I'm trying to say is, like, if you have that SKU that comes out and that's the next gen console, then you have an Anaconda that's supposed to be way more powerful. It's supposed to stand out, right? It's like the difference between the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X is pretty substantial. You know what I'm saying? So
40% roughly. Yep.
I mean, if the Lockhart's coming out, there's got to be a decent price point there for the next gen for upgrades. So it has to be competitive with the PlayStation 5, because you don't want to get into a thing that you got into last gen where you're $100 more and you're about the same power. They're not going to do that. So the price point's going to be at or cheaper than the PlayStation 5 with the Lockhart. And then that premium option, like I said, it's going to be substantially more expensive. That's why I said you can't really have your cake and eat it too. Like, if you want that premium console, you're gonna have to pay a premium price. So if next gen consoles drop at $500, then you get an upgraded console. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Anaconda could come out at a $700, $800 price point. That's what I'm just trying to say. Like,
all right, that's good. But listen. All right, let me give you my take on this, and let me know if you agree or not. I think it's going to be $400 for the Lockhart.
Okay.
Now, from the S to the X, there was a $100 difference, right? Am I right on that?
No.
What was the power difference between the two, though?
The 40% power difference.
40%.
X was 500. The X was 500. How much was the
$250
S?
when it came out, right?
I think the S was about 300 at the time before they came out.
So $200 difference, right?
Well, there you go. $200 difference. You got the Lockhart 400.
If it comes out at $400, I think next gen will be at 500. Honestly.
All right, I think Lockhart 400, and then you're gonna have the 40% more powerful, roughly, Anaconda sitting at 600.
Okay, so either 400, 600, 500, 700, we shall see. But man, we ran out of time, guys. I don't know what to say. We went over our normal time period, but we had some great conversations. Great conversations, guys.
Dude, it's amazing.
Amazing. And
amazing.
I was just, God, I'm sorry about coughing. I thought I had the situation handled here, but the OBS situation is different for me. I'm still learning. So apparently OBS is running my mic directly. It doesn't deal with this Google Hangouts area. So if I mute my mic on OBS, the chat won't be able to hear me, but you guys could still hear me in the Google Hangouts and vice versa. So if I want to completely mute myself, I got to mute both mics. So that's good to know. Like, good thing I wasn't doing something that I didn't want showing up, right?
Either way, the chat didn't hear you. That's all.
Anyway, yeah, great episode, guys. We planned on talking about like 2018 in review and 2019 and stuff, and I still think we'll do that if and when we have an episode next week. I plan on doing it. I know that people have holiday plans and all that stuff, so we'll see what the panel looks like. I'll get ask the panel members what they're doing and stuff. So we'll be doing a show next week. I'll be there because it's like Christmas is what day? Tuesday, I think. Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Thursday's kind of in that middle, and then New Year's is going to be after that, right? So look forward to a show next week. We'll probably do a 2018 in review, you know, what we're looking forward to the 2019. I might cut together the best clips from the podcast. I was thinking about doing that. If you guys want to go through the archives and you get some clips that you liked or you enjoyed a lot, man, you know, send me the timestamps and in my DMs, and we'll get that cut together and get something cool going on that you can listen to during, you know, the holidays or whatever. So appreciate everybody. It was an awesome time. Let's start with our guest, Native. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at irrelevantnative. You could also find me on Xbox as well. Currently not doing any podcasts except for whenever anybody asks me, but you can find that information on Twitter. But yeah, just hit me up. I'm always looking at game. Currently playing the hell out of Battlefield 5. So if you're running Battlefield 5, hit me up. Let's do it. But thank you, Salty, and thank you to the rest of the panel for entertaining me and my shenanigans. And, you know, I got nothing but love and respect for all of you dudes. You guys have all made this community just one of the best things about my day, honestly. Yeah,
well,
so
we're
thanks.
glad
Much
to
love
have
to you guys.
back, man. Let's start with Punk. Where can people find you, man?
Twitter, Punkadish Gaming, everywhere else, Punkadish, man. Yeah, good podcast, man. You guys just ran it on, so I was just pretty much chilling in the background like some jazz music, you know? So it is what it is. But no, good podcast, man. Love hanging out with you dudes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Titan, where can people find you?
Everything at Titan Drago, everybody. Now, Bloody, my outro's going to be hot and quick, so get ready and don't get too close because I don't want to get sued, okay?
Okay.
You know, I don't want to have no McDonald's incident. Anyways, excellent show tonight, boys. Lots of hot and salty takes, and I hope I brought the common back to sense.
Hot and salty.
Oh.
All right, Nick,
That was
where
hot
can people
because
find
the
you?
fact that
Man,
it's so,
Back
so
to
tangy.
boy. That's what you did, Titan. That's all you showed me tonight, Titan. You showed me your fanboy.
Boy, Nintendo Direct, where can people find you?
You guys know where you can find me. Well, actually, let me be more specific about where you can find me because this week I got an early Christmas present and got my actual URLs back on Twitter and Twitch. So no more one in the handles no more. It's Nintendo Direct straight up. So that's actually good news for me.
Straight up, legit.
So that's always great. So you can find me everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Nintendo Direct now. No one, nothing about that. So that's always great.
Who'd you have to blow to do that?
I mean, nobody really. I just had to wait. That was crazy. It's crazy how it happened, for real though. But nah, man, I just want to take the time, like, for real quick. I don't want to get like sappy, but I just want to like thank everybody in the community and thank everybody on this panel and like thank Salty and everybody. Dude, like, let me just be real. These last few months for me, like personally, have been like some of the hardest I've ever been through in my entire life, being my adult life. Yeah. Everything that I've been going through with stuff falling through, stuff happening at work, almost losing my job, all this stuff. It just really means a lot that the community has been there. You guys have been there. I know I haven't been on every podcast, you know, the last part of this year. It's been on and off when I've been here and I've been not there, but I've been handling my business per se. And so really do just appreciate your dudes on the panel and everybody in the chat. Really do. Like, y'all mean like the world to me, for real.
Much love, man.
Awesome.
I was
Hell yeah,
I was muted. Sorry, two mics to unmute. So we appreciate you. Dave.
2 buttons to unmute.
Two buttons to unmute myself. Thanks, man. We appreciate you. Next up, we got Bloody. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me on my channel on youtube.com/Bloody Knuckles. The O's is 0, the E's is 3, and of course it ends in a Z. They can also find me on Twitter, Mixer, and on Facebook.com. And of course, they can also catch me on Saturdays on my show on the Smash Podcast, their little corner for nerdy news and geeky goodness. And every Friday on K Mega's channel on the GRG Podcast, and that's at 8:30 Central Time. And of course, they can catch me here every Thursday with you guys. And to make sure that they do follow the Tick Network, the new Tick Gaming Network channel, because I have partnered with them, with the boy JD, to do a special project called the Otaku Fix, your little corner for all things in the Japanese subculture.
Nice. Congratulations on that
Was
one,
that-
dude.
Was that Kotaku or Otaku?
Don't
Otaku.
don't go there, Titan. Leave Kotaku alone. Leave him alone.
Hey,
No, go after
all
Kotaku.
Otaku cosplay biatches.
I don't even know what otaku is, but anyway, that's
Otaku is basically just a Japanese word for a nerd or a geek or someone basically who has a hobby that they're passionate about.
awesome.
Let's just say bloody.
So that's
So we're all otakus.
Basically, yes, because there's even car otakus and cooking otakus out in Japan.
Otaku's out.
That's crazy.
sounds like taco. So I'm getting hungry. Anyway,
Oh, now I'm hungry, dog.
Yeah, I need to go eat, guys.
Yep.
I need to take off.
so that's gonna be it for the show tonight. I hope you guys have a great holiday, Christmas, all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good time gaming this week. Hit us up on Twitter, Xbox Live, all that good stuff. If you're new, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and that's gonna do it. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay salty, my friends.